Hi everyone, welcome to this Pilates workout. My name's Debbie. If you haven't done one of my Pilates classes before, let me just tell you a quick bit about myself. I had a premature menopause, which brought the onset of bone density issues and also osteoporosis. Following that, I had a prolapsed disc, and a few years later I decided I need to look into alternatives instead of taking medication for my issues that I have. Pilates was one of them, and obviously I haven't looked back. I've been doing it now for the last 15 years. I qualified as a training instructor just a few months back now, 6 months ago, and I passed with a distinction, which was great. So we're going to be doing a workout today. Pilates works around strengthening the core. We breathe in, and as we breathe in through the nose, we pull in our core. As we breathe out, we pull in the core even more, and we breathe out through the mouth. Okay, try and remember that throughout the class, so keeping the core tight as you can. Obviously, if you're new and you're trying to concentrate on moves, you might not remember your core, but if you can, that's the bit that is going to support our spine and hold our stability for us, helping along the way. I'm going to be using hand weights. For the simple reason, it helps with bone density across the top of the back and the shoulders and helps to build up the arms there for me. You don't have to use them. Every move that I do can be used without hand weights. If you want to use weights and you don't have any, maybe use some water bottles. Obviously make sure they've got water in. Empty ones will be no good. And we'll start our workout. We will start by laying down. So if you take yourself to the mat and lay down, put any weights that you've got to one side. If you've got low blood pressure, please do come down from the left. Otherwise, you can come down with me and we can come down one vertebrae at a time, working the spine and doing it with core control. So get yourself to your mat, get yourself nice and seated, feet flat on the floor, sitting yourself nice and tall, spine long, okay? Take your arms out in front. Now, if you're coming down, we're coming down not like this, we're coming down curving our spine. It's called the C curve. So we come down in that manner. If you get to a point where you start to struggle and you feel you're not holding it in the core and it's coming from your lower spine, and that's where the tension and any pain you might feel, take your hands behind the back of the legs and lower yourself down from the back of the legs. Okay, anytime you have pain or issues, please do not work through it. Step back and take a low option. I'll be giving options throughout the class. If you get tired or you need a rest through any point of the class, we can go into what is called our child's pose. So you take your knees mat width, toes are locked in together, and you bring yourself over and you rest there. Okay, so let's get started. Those that are not laying down and are coming down with me, sitting nice and tall, feet flat on the floor, arms out, taking our legs down, our back down, slowly in a C curve, bringing ourselves down. Gently does it, very slowly, make sure the core is holding you, and you bring yourself down all the way to the floor. Take your arms overhead, and we're going to give ourselves a full body stretch. Now, if you've got bad lower back issues and you don't want to stretch from laying flat, take your feet mat width apart and lock the knees in together. You can still stretch here and you will still get pushing the glutes down into the floor and squeezing them and pushing away at the same time. Pushing that back into the floor and stretching, or stretching full body from here. Excellent. Okay, we're going to do a little bit of resting first. Take your feet so they're mat width apart, so you've got them mat width apart, palms facing out and your palms facing up. So we've got here, what we're going to do is we're going to tense our whole body. We're going to clench and we're going to squeeze, and we're going to tense everything up on an in-breath, and on the out-breath we're going to allow it to go. So we're going to build everything up, squeezing tight, squeeze the face, squeeze, and then let everything go. Do that again, squeeze tight, and release. Excellent. Okay, just rock our head now from side to side, gently releasing the neck. And then you're going to come to center. When you get to center, we're going to lift our chin to chest. Shoulders are going to stay on the floor, shoulders are going to stay relaxed. So taking an in-breath and pulling in that core. And on the out-breath, you pull in the core even more, and you lift chin to chest. Breathe in here, take an in-breath, pull the core even more, pull it tight. And then on the out-breath, keep that core tight, release the head back down, and when you get there, just let everything go, let everything relax. We're going to lay here now for a few moments and we're going to prepare ourselves for our practice. So while you're laying still, I want you to look internally and see what's going on with your body. See if you have any points of areas that need working on throughout this practice. Okay, so feet dropping out nice and gently. Let them relax. Let the calves and the thighs relax. Let the glutes and the pelvis relax. The lower back, the mid-back and your core, the upper back and your chest, your hands, your lower arms and your upper arms, your shoulders, your neck, your head. Relax your face muscles, that's your cheekbones, your eyes, your eyebrows. Relax the forehead and the top of your head. Just lay there and internally check your body. Internally, check the legs and your core, check your back and your arms, shoulders. Keeping relaxed, keeping the eyes closed. And then we're going to start to wake our body up, bringing ourselves back to the here and now, ready to start our practice. So wriggle your fingers, wriggle your toes, maybe give yourselves a little rock around. Maybe another full body stretch. Oh, feel that stretch. Release the arms, taking a big deep breath in through the nose. And let the tension go through the mouth. And everybody, feet up onto the mat width apart, knees locked in together, arms out into a T shape. Okay, we're just going to take a little bit of a relax here. I'm going to part the knees. We're going to take an in-breath and pulling our core. And on the out-breath, pulling the core even more, keeping the eyes closed as well if you can. Drop the legs over to one side and let them go. And then just let everything relax again here. Let all tension go. You might just get your legs to here. That's your point of tension, that's fine. Feel the stretch. Relax into it, keeping the shoulders on the mat. And then on your next in-breath, pulling in your core. Same time, bringing legs to center, reaching the center, and breathing out. Check you're nice and central again. On the next in-breath, pulling that core. Out-breath, pull the core in more, and release the legs over to the other side. And lay there. Relax into it. Breathe into any points of tension you may have, asking your body to relax. On the next in-breath, pulling in the core, legs to center, reaching the top, breathing out, and relaxing, let everything go. Okay, taking our feet together, we've got ankles together, we've got our knees together and our thighs are locked in. Okay, we're going to take our hug. The hug we'll be doing throughout the session. It helps to release the spine, it opens it out. Okay, so taking an in-breath, we're going to lift the legs up, pulling in the core, and we're going to lift from the core. If you haven't got the core strength to do it, take behind the legs and lift your legs from behind. So taking that big in-breath and pulling the core, lifting up those legs, breathing out, pull the core in even more, and hug those legs in towards you. Feel the opening in the mid and the bottom spine, and then release. Do that again, breath in, breath out, and release. Okay, fabulous. Down now, feet flat on the floor, bringing them hip width now. So we've got our hips in line, our knees and everything in line. We're going to get our neutral spine. So the neutral spine works triangle across the front of your pelvis here, and we're going to start to lift and lower, but we're going to do it without breathing. So as we breathe in, we'll pull the core in, and you'll feel the hands go down, and as you breathe out and you pull in the core even more, tilt the pelvis up and then rest. But when you rest, don't release the core. Hold the core tight on that rest, pull it in even more, breathing out, tilt the pelvis, rest but keeping the core tight, breathing in, breathing out, rest, keep that core tight, breathing in, breathing out, and rest. Now you should have a nice neutral spine. The lower back and your glutes should be nicely and firmly on the floor. You might have a small arch underneath your back. Some people have a natural curve to their spine. That's fine, but we don't want big spines up here, and we don't want the glutes lift off the floor and in an uncomfortable position. So make sure you've got that nice neutral spine when we work. If you feel at any point you've come out of that, just stop and put yourself back into it. Make sure that you're comfortable. Bring your feet a little bit closer. We're going to go into our bridge. We're going to take it step by step. So we're going to take our hands to the floor for support initially, and we're going to breathe in and pull in the core as we did before. And as we breathe out and lift the pelvis, we start to lift ourselves up. So we squeeze the glutes tight, we squeeze the thighs, and we push ourselves up. We hold it there. Keep it nice. You can support yourself if you wish. Don't have to keep the hands away. Taking an in-breath at the top. And as you breathe out, you release yourself slowly back down to the floor, one vertebrae at a time. Trying to keep the legs as still as you can. We're trying to work from the core and the spine. Let's do that again. Breath in, breath out. Keeping everything tight, going up as slow as you can. The slower you go up, the better it is. Reaching the top, taking an in-breath, breathing out, bring yourself all the way back down to the floor, one vertebrae at a time. Okay, next option, you can take your hands away. If you find when you're going up, your legs are moving around, take your hands back down and take the support. So hands away, breathing in, breathing out, lift yourself up, all the way to the top. Holding it at the top, breath in, breath out, bring yourself all the way back down to the floor, slowly. Okay, breath in, let's do that again. Keeping that core pulled in, breathing out as we go up, keeping everything tight, reaching the top. When we get to the top this time, we're going to see if we can come up onto our toes, pushing that bridge a little bit deeper, breathing in, breathing out, we come back down, keeping up on the toes. The toes are going to be the last thing, or heels will be the last thing that will come down to the ground. So tailbone and heels. And we're going to see if we can go up on the toes. So we're going to breathe in, pull in the core. Breathe out, tilt that pelvis and start to lift. And as you start to go up and squeeze in the glutes and the thighs, push the toes up. And bring yourself up on your toes all the way to the top. In breath, out breath, coming back down. And release to the floor. Let's do that again. Staying at the top, we're going to take another option. We're going to go one step further. So breath in, breath out, tilting the pelvis, keeping the core tight, squeezing the glutes, pushing the toes up. Squeeze those thighs, coming all the way to the top. Holding it at the top. Next option is to take the hands under. Take them into a grip underneath and roll your shoulders under. Push that bridge even further. Feel the opening in the spine. And it's opening in a different way. So rather than forward, it's opening arched ways. Taking the hands away, taking a breath in, breathing out, all the way back down to the floor, and holding it there. Okay, let's take our hug. This time you're going to feel a difference in the hug because we've worked the spine that way. Now we're going to be working it back the opposite way. So legs together, don't cross them, keep them together, taking that in-breath, pulling in the core, lifting the legs up from the core, breathing out, and squeeze. Feel probably a little bit more tightness there because we're working it differently. Breath in, breath out, and down to the floor. The final part of bridge is actual fall bridge. Now this is not a pose. If you haven't done it before, I wouldn't suggest trying it right now. If you've done it before and you want to have a go, then go ahead. If you haven't done it and you've got someone there that can maybe support your back for you and you want to have a go, then do it, but do it with lots of caution. Okay, if you haven't done it and you're not happy to do it, stick with your bridge roll up and roll down. If you are doing full bridge, you're taking your hands over your heads, your fingertips are facing but towards your legs. You take your legs slightly wider. As you push yourself up, you're going to take yourself resting gently on the head. You're not taking any weight onto the head, but your head will gently rest. And then from there, you will push up onto your arms and your legs, and you push yourself into full bridge, which you're going to hold there for a count of 8. You count your own 8 and come back down in your own time. So when you're ready, and then when you come back down gently with the head, rolling down and bringing yourself back down. You might want to give yourself one of those hugs again. And you might want to have another go at bringing yourself up and try it. Have a go. If you've done it before and you want to try it, then do try it. Otherwise, keep with your bridge roll-ups. And bring yourself all the way back down to your mat, and another hug. And then release your legs down. Okay, we're going to get ourselves into neutral spine and we're going to start to do some sit-ups. So if you want to take your hand weights, if you've got hand weights and you want to use them, you can use them now. We'll be using them in a moment. We'll work ourselves up to them. Again, as I said, it's an option, and every move that we do can be done without them. So you can do your sit-ups, bringing yourself up. You can hold behind your legs to bring yourself up. If you haven't got the core strength and you can't bring yourself fully up from there, then do hold behind your legs. You can do it from the floor, and you can bring yourself up from there, making sure the feet are kept onto the floor as you come up. That's the classic sit-up there with the legs long. But again, all the options are up to you and how your body and how you're feeling today. So we'll start with our legs hip width apart. Okay, we're going to take our hands behind our head. Now the elbows will be outwards, they're not up here, they're there, and they're there just to support the head. Okay, get your neutral spine, make sure that you're comfortable. And when you're comfortable, taking your hands behind your head. As you breathe in, we're going to use that breathing again. So we're breathing and pulling the core. And as we breathe out and tilt the pelvis up, pulling the core tight, we lift our head and shoulders. We hold it there, we breathe in, we breathe out, and we bring ourselves back down. But all the time we're holding the core tight, we're not releasing it. Okay, so try and, I know it's a lot to sort of try and remember, but do try and keep that core tight. You can take the hands away. You can take the hands onto the legs, you can take the feet a little further apart, or further forward rather than apart, and bring yourself up from here. And then you can go into the full sit-up with the hand weights or without the hand weights. Bring yourself up, either with the legs bent, or you can take them full width. I like them full width because I think it's easier on my spine, but that's your choice. You can also extend the arms overhead, and as you're coming up, Bring yourself up and bring yourself forward over the legs. All the options open to you. You do what's best for you. We're just doing 8 of these. Wherever we are, we're doing 8. We're working ourselves up to what is known as teaser. Teaser is the best core move that you can do in Pilates. It's not the easiest, but it certainly works all the lower muscles and the deep tissue muscles around the core and the pelvis. That's 6. You've just got 2 more to do. Don't forget, any time if it's too much for you, you can go into child's pose that I showed you at the beginning. And 1 more. Bringing yourself down to the floor. Take the weights to one side for the moment. Okay. We're going to do our hug. So let's bring in our little hug here. So legs together, breathing in, lifting from the core, breathing out, and release. Breath in, breath out, and release. Fabulous. Okay, so the final move, which I said is going to be our teaser. So we take our hand weights again. If you want them, you can do it without hand weights. And what we do is we take the legs slightly further apart, further forward, and we take our knees together with one leg in the air. Oh gosh, my weights are gone. Oh, goodness me. Wow, it's gone right over there. Sorry guys. Weights decided to run away from me. Okay, get yourself back down now. Get yourself in my neutral spine. Okay, so legs together, slightly away from the body now. One leg up, so we've got the knees together. We take our arms overhead. We're just going to do 4 on either side of these. We're going to breathe in, and as we breathe out, we're going to bring ourselves up to seated with the leg in the air. Now, if you can only get to here, that's not a problem. Have a go. You might be able to do 1. You might be able to do a couple. You might be able to do all 4. Just have a go and see where you are. If it's too much for you, just go back to normal sit-ups, keeping the core tight. We've just got 1 more here. Bringing yourself back down, swap over your legs, 4 on this side. Last one. There. And bring yourself back down, taking your weights to one side. Hopefully they won't roll away. And let's take our hug. So breath in, breath out. Breath in, breath out. And release down to the floor. So the final thing that we're going to do, which is our core control, is we're going to do our side obliques. Okay, so you can do them from here. You can bring yourself up. You can do it with one leg coming up, a twist in the body. It's not just the elbow that's coming, our whole body's coming up and twisting. You can do it, you can bring the legs up into tabletop position, and you can do it from here. You might just do the legs in the air. You might be able to stretch them forward. Okay, so let's have a go. Take the option that is best for you, and let's start. Breathing out as you stretch away, trying to keep that core squeezed tight. In through the nose, out through the mouth. And really working that core. Last one. And release. Feet down to the floor. Let's take our hug. Breath in. Legs up. Breath out. Breath in. Breath out. And finally, we're going to have a go at our cycling bicycle. So if you want, if you have lower spine issues, you can put your hands underneath and give yourself a bit of a cushion there, which I always do because my lower spine is one of my issues that I have with my osteoporosis. So I do like to keep my hands there to keep the pain, strain and everything off the bottom of the spine. So for comfortability, but you don't have to. You can have your hands to the side, whatever's comfortable for you. So you're going to bring our legs up as we just did. If it's too much for you to bring both legs up, then you can cycle with just one leg with the other on the floor. Okay, if you're doing that, it's 8 on one side and 8 on the other. So let's take our legs up. If we're here, we're going to start. So we're going to 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. If you're doing it one leg, then swap now, so you're doing the other leg. And hold it there. We're going to reverse the cycle now. So if you're one leg, you swap back to the first leg, and let's reverse. Keep that core tight. Hold it there. Let's swap over. If you're doing the other leg, swap. Let's do another 8. Hold it there. Bring the feet down. Let's take in that hug. Breath in, legs up, breathing out. And release. Breath in, breath out, and release. Okay, we're going to bring ourselves up now to seated. You can come up onto your side and push yourself up. If you're coming up that way, left-hand side with low blood pressure. Otherwise, you can come with me, and we're coming up rolling like a ball. Okay, it's going to massage the whole spine, right from the tip of the tailbone to the top of the neck. As we start rolling, we get the momentum. We try not to put our feet down. Obviously, if you do, that's not an issue. But yep, let's try and keep the feet off of the floor as we bring ourselves up. So you can cross the legs now, keeping that core tight. You can have them here, or hands here, wherever you want to start the momentum. Okay, and you start rolling yourself, massaging that spine, keeping the feet off of the floor. You can take the hands away, so you no longer got the support of the arms there, bringing you up. You could even try and take the hands out to the side and bring yourself up from there. And then taking your legs down, sitting nice and tall, squeezing the legs in, sitting your spine as straight and as tall as you can. Squeeze those legs tight, close to you, and sit that spine tall. So you've got all the way from the top of the head, looking forward, don't looking down, we're not looking up, we're looking forward. We're keeping a whole straight spine from the tip of the tailbone there right the way up to the top of the head. And then take an in-breath, and as you breathe out, allow the head to drop down and get the stretch across the top of the back, top of the spine and over the shoulders. And sitting yourself up, bring yourself round. Let's take our feet wide. I'm going to put those inside now. So sitting down, we're taking our feet now wide apart. We're going to do some oblique crosses here. So we've done the obliques from the floor, we're going to do them from a seated position here. So we take our arms out, we breathe, and we bring ourselves down. And you may get to here. What we're aiming for is to take the hand to the opposite side of the foot and bring ourselves down. The back arm will be up in the air and pushing away. We're coming across and we're bringing ourselves down, bringing ourselves back up to center, sitting tall, swinging our arms and pushing ourselves over to the other foot. Trying to keep our seat bones on the floor. And getting that lovely oblique stretch. You're going to feel a hip opening as well. So the hips are going to be working now. Keeping the core tight, don't forget your core. Don't forget your breathing. Breathing out as you come down. Breathing in as you're up. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. And bringing yourself back to center. Let's take our legs out in front of us. Get yourself nicely on your seat bones here. We're going to do a forward fold. So we're going to keep ourselves nice and straight and we're bringing ourselves forward. Now we're aiming for our chest to come towards our knees and our thighs. We're not just hanging and dropping, we're stretching that spine, we're opening it, we're allowing it to breathe. We're coming forward and we're bringing ourselves down. So taking an in-breath, pulling that core, and as you breathe out, keep the core tight and drop yourself down. Now you might get to here, that's great. If you can hold onto your ankles, you could hold behind your thighs and pull yourself down a little bit more, or your calves I should say. You could probably hold behind the thighs, but that would be a bit awkward. But yeah, hold where you want to and pull yourself down. On each in-breath, you sort of slightly lift, and on the out-breath, you pull yourself a little bit lower. So see where you can get, where you know, your point of tension and your point of comfort, and stay there. And we're going to hold it there for a little while and allow the spine to breathe and open. If you're plodding behind, try and keep your feet flexed. And then bring yourselves slowly up. Okay, we're going to do a downward dog now. Downward dog gives you another opportunity to check into your body. It's a fantastic move. It helps build bone density across the arms because you're taking the weight into your arms. It takes down the stretch, down the legs. We get the opening spine in our triangular shape because that's what we're aiming for. And our head will be lower than our heart. So that will give the opportunity for the blood to flow better and freely around the body, oxygenating and filling your body with the air that it needs. So bringing ourselves round, we're going to take ourselves, so we've got what we call flat back now. We've got our wrists underneath our shoulders and we have our knees underneath our hips. And we've got them hip width apart, okay, not too wide. So what we do is we take our hands, one hand width in front of us. Okay, so we're now out of alignment. We take our toes under and we push our glutes back down onto our heels. Okay, and at this point we're going to take an in-breath, pulling in the core. We're going to lift our knees off of the floor. So take that in-breath, pull in that core, lift the knees, and on the out-breath use your arms and your legs to push yourself up into that downward dog position. Okay, here you're aiming to push your chest towards your thighs. So you push forward and push yourself through, and then you hold it there and you check in and you check how your body's feeling, what's going on, any points that you feel that might need working on. If it's too much tension, too much pressure in your arms, you can come down onto your forearms and come into this position and still push the chest forward towards those thighs. This is called dolphin, so you can do that there, or you can stay up in your full downward dog, pushing yourselves and giving yourselves that stretch. Then start to walk your toes out. Okay, work the ankles, come up right on the toes. We're working the whole foot now, we're waking the feet up. You're going to come right up onto your tiptoes, and then you're going to push the heels down to the ground. Don't worry if they don't reach the floor, and push that chest through. And then on the next in-breath, taking the in-breath in, breathing out, bend the knees and walk your hands back to your feet. Keep that core tight, guys, don't let that core go. We're going to do a little bit of a hang here, and then we're going to bring ourselves up and we're going to do some classic Pilates roll downs. So just hang there. And then taking your hands down, we're going to take an in-breath, pull in the core, breathing out. We're going to start to bring ourselves up as slow as we can, one vertebrae at a time. Okay, now you might not be able to do it all in one breath, so if you are breathing in and out as you're coming up, make sure each time you do, you hold that core tight. So I take my hands to the front of my legs so that I come up smoothly. When we get to here, the glutes are squeezed tight. You bring yourself up, then the lower back will start to bring itself up, followed by the mid-back, the upper back, the shoulders, back and down, the neck, and finally the head, until you're standing tall and straight. And we're going to do that a few times. It's the classic Pilates roll down. Do it with your breath and in your time. So a breath in, as you breathe out, you're tilting that head down, just the head, keeping the core tight, keeping the glutes squeezed, bringing the hands round in front, allow the shoulders to come down, and the upper back, the mid back, and the lower back. Now you might just get to here, you might get to here. Wherever you can go, take yourself down as low as you can, but keep the core tight. In that in-breath, and then breathing out, bringing yourself back up, holding everything as tight as you can. The core, the glutes, squeeze them tight. And close your eyes, and you can look in and see what's happening internally. And on this one, we're going to stay down. So taking that in-breath, out-breath, down with the chin, keeping everything tight, coming all the way down. Taking the hands to the floor and walking yourself out, and coming onto all fours. And we're going to do some tricep push-ups here. So taking the hands further forward, we're going to tricep down. Okay? Do a few triceps here, working the back of the arms. You can come up onto toes. You can bring yourself up from your toes. Keep that core tight. And then bringing your knees back down to the floor. Push yourself back. Little stretch. Back up. Let's do another 4. Wherever you are. And bring yourself back up into our tabletop position. We're going to do some thread the needle now. and thread the needle. Getting our hands again wearing into our tabletop, so we've got our wrists underneath our shoulders and our knees underneath our hips. We take an in-breath and we lift the arm up, and on the out-breath we push the arm through. We take an in-breath, we take the out-breath. If you want, you can take one leg up, so you can take one leg into the air. Now it's not just hanging loosely, it's up nice and high, and it's about hip height. We're not swinging it up in the air here, we're keeping it at hip height, but we're keeping it out. So we're taking our in-breath, and as we breathe out, we keep the leg where it is. So we're just doing 4. Last one, wherever you are. Bringing your hand down, bringing your knee down. Just a quick sit back. Bringing yourself back up. Let's do that on the other side. So you can either do it from here, or you can do it with one leg hip height in the air. Okay, so just 4. And bringing that hand back down, let's go into a child's pose, everybody. So knees mat width apart, toes locked in together, sit down on our heels. So we're sitting up nice and tall, we're taking an in-breath. And as we breathe out, we lower ourselves down over the mat, forehead onto the mat. Now before you relax, pull your hands forward. Pull away with your hands and feel the opening across the back of the shoulders there. Pulling away. In-breath, as you breathe out, relax into it. So you can relax there, you can relax here, or you can put your hands onto your bottom of the spine. Just let natural weight there, don't be pushing down on them, and breathe. A few breaths here to rest and restore. Bringing yourself back round onto all fours. We're going to take a lunge. Okay, so let's take one leg forward. So we've got a nice L shape there, and the back leg, we're going to stretch it out. We're going to come up onto the toes, so you get yourself comfortable on your toes. Taking your hands up and then bringing yourself down. Really pushing yourself into that. If you need to bring your knee down and push in from there, that's absolutely fine. You can also take your foot over to the side of the mat, keeping the knee down and coming down onto your forearms to get the opening there. Try not to let the leg fall out too much. Try and keep it in its nice shape and feel the opening. It's a really lovely thigh stretch, this one. And then bringing yourself back up. Bring that foot back to where its natural neutral point was, and then keeping it where it is, coming onto the heel. Don't move this leg, just bringing that leg up onto the heel, and drop yourself down and feel the opening behind the back of the leg. And then release that, taking it back. Let's do that on the other side. So you can take it here, you can come up on your toes, and you can get the opening from there. And then when you feel you need more, bringing the leg down, taking the foot over to the side of the mat, and come down onto your forearms. Get a real nice hip opening as well. Pushing yourself back up, Bring that foot back to its natural position in central neutral area. Bringing yourself up, keeping this leg where it is, just dropping back onto that heel, keeping the heel where it is, not moving it, and bringing yourself over the leg to get the back of the leg stretch here. Excellent. Bringing that round. Final move here. We're just going to do some Superman. So we're back into our flat back position. So we've got our wrists in line with our shoulders and our knees hip width apart, in line with our hips. And we're going to take an in-breath. And as we breathe out, we push the arm and the leg away. If that's too much, just keep the legs on the floor and just use your arm. If you're out, we're going to do 8 crunches. Breathing out as the knee goes to the elbow. Just 2 more. Push away and come down. When we're doing this, we're pushing, we're not lifting, we're pushing. As if someone's pulling our arm and someone's pulling our leg away, but we're keeping them straight and we're pushing away. So ready, so it's 8. Last one. Stretching out, bringing the legs down, bringing yourselves round to seated. So stretching the legs out in front of you. Just going to have some stretching now before we go into our final relaxation. So we're taking one leg over, we're sitting nice and tall, taking the opposite arm around that leg and hugging it. Don't go anywhere yet. Sitting tall, facing forward, as tall as you can go. Take an in-breath here, pulling that core. And as you breathe out, you're going to twist round. You're going to take the back arm around and you're going to use it as leverage to turn you. That's on your out breath. Keep in there. Do not hold your breath. Keep breathing. You get a spinal twist here and the whole internal organs are being flushed out. They're being wrung out and they're getting rid of toxins. You can look over your opposite shoulder. And then bring yourselves back to centre. Let's do that on the other side. So we're going to bring our leg over. We're going to hug that one in tight. Sitting as tall as we can. Taking the in-breath, pulling in the core. And as you breathe out, take the hand back behind you. Breathing out, using the hand as leverage to turn yourself and to that spinal twist. Keep breathing, don't hold your breath. And then bring yourselves back round. Okay, we're going to take ourselves down to the floor, do a couple more stretches, and then we're going to relax. So, if you want to come down from your side, then do so. Don't forget left-hand side if you have low blood pressure. Or you can come down with me, one vertebrae, C-curve at a time. So sitting nice and tall, feet flat on the floor, legs hip width apart, arms out in front, breath in, pull the core in, breath out. We're keeping that core tight at all times now. Breath in, breath out, breath in, breath out. Hold it, breath in, breath out. Hold it there, hold it, breath in, breath out. All the way to the floor and give yourselves a full body stretch. And bring yourself round. Taking your legs up, so the feet flat on the floor. We're taking one leg up into the air and we're going to bring it in and we're going to give it a nice stretch. Now, I'll have a little bit of a bend here in my knee. I have knee issues, so I'm not going to lock them out. entirely up to you. If you want to try and lock it, you can, but I do think that it's better to have a slight bend there in the knee. Clearly we don't want a huge bend, but if you've got a little bend behind the back of the knee, not a problem. Breathing in, and as you breathe out, keeping the core tight, you're pulling that leg towards you. Release that, taking it over the other leg. We're going to lift the leg up, going to hold behind the thigh, and we're going to pull in. You're going to use this elbow as leverage against the thigh, and you're going to push that away to get a hip opening here. Open that hip, feel the stretch. And release. Let's do that on the other side, taking the leg into the air. Breathing in, breathing out. Don't forget, every breath in, you slightly release it. Every breath out, you pull it closer towards you. Releasing that, taking it across the other leg, bringing that leg up, holding behind the thigh and bringing it towards you, pushing it away with the opposite arm into the thigh for that opening, that hip opening. And release down. Let's take our hug for our final time. So taking the in-breath, hopefully now your core is tight enough so that you can bring the legs up with your in-breath. Breathing out. And if you want, you can now bring your head up and squeeze yourself. Whole spine. And release. Do that again. Breath in, breath out. Release. Okay, taking your legs out now. If you've still got lower spine issues and you want to keep your feet mat width, knees locked in, then do so. Otherwise, legs fully down along the mat. We're going to go into our final relaxation. So arms away from the body, palms facing up, feet mat width, feet dropping out. Let's release the neck as we did at the beginning of the class. Rocking from side to side with the head. Come into center, taking that breath in, breathing in through the core, pulling in the core, breathing out, chin to chest, shoulders remaining on the mat, relaxed, keeping that core tight, breathing in again, pulling it tighter, breathing out, keeping the core tight, head down to the floor. When the head reaches the floor, relax, let everything go, let the core go, let your whole body go, and lay there. This is your opportunity now to look at how you feel from the beginning of the class to the end of the class and how the workout has helped, and I hope it has. So letting the feet drop out, relax those toes, relax the feet and the ankles, the calves, the knees and the thighs, heavy into the floor beneath you. Feel the weight of those legs in the floor, in the ground that's holding. Release your pelvis and your glutes. Let them go, let them relax. The lower core and the lower spine. Release the mid-spine and your stomach. The upper spine and your chest. Let the fingers relax and the hands, the lower arms, the elbows. elbows and the upper arms, melting into the floor beneath you. Your shoulders, your neck and your head. How heavy does that feel in the ground, in your mat? Relax those face muscles. Relax your cheekbones. Relax your lips. Relax your eyes and your eyebrows. Rest your forehead, let it relax. And the top of your head. Your whole body relaxed, surrendered to the ground beneath. Just the rise and fall of your breath now. The only thing that is moving. Imagine the sea, the waves coming in and out. And the waves come in and come towards you. A warm breeze blows over your body, from the tips of your toes, over your legs, your arms, your torso, over your face and away at the top of your head. And as the tide goes out, that breeze comes back, goes over your head and your shoulders, your arms, your torso, your legs and away from your feet. Follow that breeze as it comes in, waves over your body, and the breeze goes back. Imagine the sun warming your heart chakra, the glow of the yellow spreading from your heart through your body. Filling your body with warmth and love. And then take your concentration back to your breath and lay still. Thoughts that come into your head, just acknowledge them and let them go. Keep concentrating on your breath. Okay, let's bring a little bit of movement back to our body now. Start waking ourselves up, bring us back to the here and now. Wriggle the fingers, wriggle the toes, maybe give the legs a little shake, the arms, do whatever it does to make yourself wake up. Ooh. Keeping the eyes closed if you can, taking a big in-breath through the nose and release through the mouth. And when you're ready, taking yourself over onto your side, left-hand side if you have low blood pressure. Make a little cushion with your arm and rest your head. Opening your eyes, slowly bring yourself round onto all fours. We're going to be bringing ourselves up to standing. So we're going to do this slowly because we don't want any head rushes. So at the moment you'll be on all fours. So to curl your toes under and come up onto the fingertips of your hands and push up onto your toes, pushing your knees away from the mat. Taking your fingertips a little bit closer towards your legs. Pushing yourself up until your feet are flat on the floor and you're hanging like a rag doll. Just hang there. You might want to take hold of opposite elbows. And then taking your hands onto your hips, bend your knees quite a lot and start to bring yourself up as slow as you can. Going to make sure that the head is the last thing to come up. Excellent, reaching the top, standing tall. Let's take a big deep in breath. And breathing out. Wriggle those fingers, shake those arms, move the legs a little bit. Let's take another big deep in breath, out breath, and taking your legs together, take that in breath, out breath, hands together, bringing them down to your heart chakra, giving yourselves a bow, and give yourselves a clap. Well done, guys. Thank you for joining me. Hope you enjoyed.